Okay, I just wanted to cover this one more example because this is one of the trickier ones. Okay, if we want to graph this equation, we have to find the point of origin, and it's a little different here because it has to be in the form x minus, not x minus a number, not a number minus x. So we have to kind of get this in our forms. And if we look at some of the other problems we had up here, they're always in this form under the radical. The x is in front. See? X minus 2, x plus 6, negative x minus 7, negative x plus 2. So the x is always on the left and the numbers to the right. And we just take the opposite sign for our point of origin. So this is not in that form, so we have to kind of doctor it up. So just follow these steps carefully, you won't have any trouble. The first thing we're going to do is put the x in front. So that's negative x, so I'll just write negative x plus 2. And the minus 3 stays the same, that's no problem. And you can see this is a positive 2 and that's a negative x. We just carry the sign and we just kind of use the commutative property. As long as you carry the sign along, that's okay. Okay, but again, we have this negative out in front. And if we notice when we saw forms like this, we had negative something because it's negative x. In this case, the x was x plus 2, but it's negative something. Our basic forms were the graph of the square root of x or negative the square root, or the square root of negative x or the square root of negative something. So it's got to be negative something, not negative something plus 2 to make it look in the same form, because it's going to end up being something like y equals the square root of negative x, something like that. Oh, sorry, you can't see that. Negative something because I got a leading negative sign. So what we have to do is we have to factor out that negative sign. So y equals the square root of negative, and then if I take the negative out from the x, it makes it positive, but if I take a negative from a positive, it makes it positive. And now we have it in our graphing form. So put the x in front with the sign and carry the signs to factor out the leading negative sign, and now we have the square root of negative something, which is similar to this form, the square root of negative something. That something's x. In this case, the something is x minus 2, but because we have a shift. So now we can find our point of origin. Our point of origin is going to be negative 2 still, and same sign, negative 3. And then if we cover up that horizontal and vertical shift, you can see we just have the square root of negative x, and we know that that's going to go to the left. Kind of like this one here. Okay. So we put our point of origin down, which is going to be negative 2, negative 3. All right. And then we're going to go over 1, up 1 to the left, or to the left 1, up 1, and to the left 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 2. And there you go. It looks kind of like that, except it's shifted over. 2 to the left, down 3. And there you go, there's your graph. Now while we're at it, once we have the graph, it's easy enough to see the domain and the range. The domain are the x values, and the domain, it looks like these are going all the way out here to negative infinity, so the domain's going to be coming from negative infinity and going all the way to, oops, I should label these. This is going to be 2, negative 2, and this is negative 3. So it's going to be going from negative infinity to negative 2, and it equals negative 2 also. And the range, these are the y values, going from negative 3, and it's going up. So it's going to start at negative 3, and it's going to go up, and it keeps going up actually to infinity. It just takes a long time to get there. But this will keep rising, so it's actually going to eventually get up to infinity. So there's your range, negative 3 up to infinity, and here's your domain, negative infinity to negative 2. Okay, so this is a little trickier one because you've got to do a few steps to get it in the right form. Okay? Hope those all make sense.